Dean Delray went to see Judas Priest last night. What's the review, brother?
Smoking, man.
Were they really good?
Yeah, they, first of all, the fucking show was packed. It was at the big one, the Nokia Theater. They changed the name Microsoft, but it holds, I think, about 8,500 seated. And that thing was full to the gills. And then their stage show looked like an 80s, like they spent money. Like a lot of bands out there are going cheap now. They just got a couple screens over the amps, These guys had a fucking show, man. They put the money in and killed. They're playing old shit, Running Wild, Sinner. It was like 1-2 punch, Running Wild into Sinner. I was like, I already got the money's worth right here.
Right there, yeah. And the lineup was tremendous.
Oh, they had Saxon, which to me is one of the greatest, new waves of British heavy metal bands. Saxon with Denim and Leather and Dallas 1 p.m., Motorcycle Man. Those guys are underrated, man. Underrated.
I never really got into them. I was past. I was like into something else when they were out.
They're killer. It was like at the time, it was them
Saxon,
and Maiden.
That one with Y.
We had Accept,
There's
Maiden,
a couple of them
Saxon,
I don't really know much.
Uriah Heep.
Saxon, Uriah Heep.
Yeah, that stuff, yeah.
Yeah. No, Uriah Heep is an old band.
Yeah.
I know about Uriah Heep.
That shit, man. Saxon is just, they got the singer, his name's Biff Byford, and the guy can, still right now, he's probably like, I don't know, Lee, look it up. The guy's probably like 72 or something.
What about Halford? How did he sound?
He sounded amazing.
Did he do Victim of Changes?
That was the only one they didn't do. They did an old song off Stay in Class, but they didn't do Victim. They did
Saints in Hell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They did Saints in Hell.
The guitar?
Yeah.
He's 67.
67.
Now,
wow.
what about, you said at the end, Tipton came out.
Yeah, then the last 3 songs, Metal Gods. What was the other one he did? Living After Midnight. And one other song. He came out. It was amazing how they did it. They went off, and then boom, he just appeared by himself on stage, all dark, just a spotlight on him. People went crazy, and he whipped into Metal Gods. He was doing the moves, had the shades on, the leather. He looked great, played great. It was awesome to see him.
There's things you remember in your life. There's things you do, and then people remind you, and you see your friends, especially when you get to 50, 40, you see your friends from high school, and they remind you. I was such a Sabbath, Led Zeppelin guy. Like, that's all I needed. You know what I'm saying? At one point in my life, that was all I needed. Then my buddies turned me on to Leonard Skinner, and it was like, But Street Survivors was just so good.
Yeah.
But I was still, like, loyal to them. And then one day I'm in study hall. And this kid, Steve Runny, that I still talk to, the kids of my nieces. I'm going to a wedding August 1st in Denver. I mean, they're my family. At that time, little did I know that they were going to adopt me.
Yeah.
Me and him were in study class, and he passed me the cassette to Unleashed in the East. And I remember taking it home going, I am not listening to this junk. I'm not listening to this junk. This is fucking junk.
Really?
Judas fucking Priest. What kind of name is fucking that?
Yeah.
At that time, I still had that little faggy Catholicism mentality. Like, I wouldn't listen to Master Reality. I didn't like that Pope on the rope at the end of the rope. Do you think he's a fool? I wasn't into that shit yet. And something made me put it on. And I took the long version. Like, usually I put one song on, and I could tell you, like, this shit's just not going to work.
Yeah.
I let the whole cassette run. And by the time they got to Sinner, that's the one. I forget what side was on the cassette. I forget that order of shit.
Yeah.
But I knew when he was like, the Sinner.
Yeah.
The guitars came in, and Victim of Changes fucking took me to a different level.
Oh,
and just on the strength of those 2 songs, it was like a quick transition. I became a Priest fan. The first Priest album I bought was gave the cassette back and bought Unleashed in the East.
Yeah.
And I could not believe how great they sounded. Like we grew up on live music and albums. The other day I was in Columbus, and I felt like talking about it on stage.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the biggest kick I got for me was growing up between the ages of 12 and 17 really, the years that my mother was alive, 16, I'll tell you why, because you have to put them together to be allowed to do. And that's something that we don't have in this country no more, called the midnight movie.
Oh, yeah.
Every Saturday, there was a midnight movie. The movie theater, if there was 2 movie theaters, let's say if it was Lemley, they would have 2 movie theaters going. One would definitely be the Rocky Horror Picture Show at midnight.
Every time.
And the other one would be, at that time...
Song Remains the Same.
It would be The Song Remains the Same, Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii.
Yeah.
Neil Young with the Crew. They had a movie that came out for a while. Boring as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, even high on acid, you're bored to pieces. But then Neil Young came out with Crazy Horse. That movie came out, I think. There were a couple bands who had movies. The memorable 2 were Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii and
Song Remains
the Same. They probably had an 8 fucking movie rotation at this Fairview Cinema. But I tell you what movie they did have at midnight one Saturday, because it was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now.
Oh.
We went to the midnight, and it was just heavy fucking duty. Like at midnight, when that double barrel Sunshine is peaking, like when that acid is peaking, when you're tripping, you're freaking out on the bus, you're getting off the bus, you don't even know if it's a red light or a yellow light or a green light. You just walk across the street. Your friend has to pull you out of the street because you're tripping.
Yeah.
You think the car's 30 yards away, but he's really 3 feet away. Like, that's how sizzling we'd be when we'd stand on line for that movie theater. And it wouldn't just be us.
Yeah.
If there was 80 people standing on line, 60 of them were tripping balls just like we do, with the same acid from the same neighborhood we got it in.
And sneaking booze in, too. Sneaking booze in.
Wolfschmidt made those flat vodka bottles.
Yeah.
You get the big one, Wolfschmidt.
That's it.
The silver label when we were kids.
Down the pants.
Yeah, right down the fucking pants. Yeah. And you got something inside to drink it with. I had a friend who would just drink the silver label straight. I was never a vodka straight type.
No snack bar needed.
No snack bar, no popcorn,
shit.
no
None
nothing.
of that shit.
Once the movie turned off, once the light went down, Lee, you would hear 30 of these.
Yeah.
People flipping caps during the movie up in the air. So you're tripping on acid, and all of a sudden you see a fucking thing flying through the air. People would take the beer caps off the caps,
flick them,
and they would fly through. I could never do that. I was retarded.
I had it down.
And you'd be tripping your balls off, and all of a sudden the thing would go flying through. You thought it was a fucking flying saucer. We're going in like fucking Marines. You understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.